So again, I would like to welcome you all here today. I know you have been working really hard in your Frontiers for Credit session, and you're probably really interested to know how you're going to be graded, because it's probably going to look a little bit different than what you're accustomed to in high school. So the good thing is we have Sarah Miles here, who is our university registrar, and she's going to review how WPI handles grading and especially how it will happen this summer and for our Frontiers participants. And then Sue Sankaroff, who is our Director of Pre-Collegiate Outreach Programs, who you've probably met already during these sessions, will also be on hand to help answer any additional questions. So again, we will ask that you use the chat for your questions, and we will make sure to get to all of those. And I am going to hand you over to Sarah. So thanks for being here.
Great, well, thank you. I'm so excited to see so many participants. You know, grading is not necessarily the most exciting topic, and usually people don't really want to hear from me. So it's kind of nice to get out in front of people a little bit and tell you a little bit about what we do on my side of the house. Like Nicole said, my name is Sarah Miles. I'm the University Registrar here at WPI. And some of you might actually not know that much about what a registrar does, but what we are primarily responsible for is registering students. We collect the grades and any other records, such as, you know, registration, enrollment, how many courses you took, that kind of thing. And then we're responsible for putting those all on official transcripts that you might have sent to some other school or maybe to yourself and what have you, among other exciting registrar type things. But anyway, what I'm here to talk to you about today is how your courses are graded and what your options are that are kind of special this summer. And then we're going to also talk a little bit about what you'll want to do with those credits after you're done with it. So, go over to the next slide here. So, as I said, today's topic.
Excuse me, can I just ask whoever has their, if we can turn off all of our microphones, please?
There we go. Okay. So today we're going to talk about, first I'm actually going to cover what a GPA is, and I'm sure many of you know exactly what it is, but I'd like to make sure that we have our bases covered before we talk about what the grading options are and what they mean to your GPA. And we're going to talk a little bit about what regular letter grades look like, and then what our pass no credit option is for this summer. And then we'll talk again about the transferring of credits. So, GPA, grade point average. Everybody has them. All the schools have them. Most of them are pretty standardly calculated, but every school is going to have some kind of translation for you that tells you exactly how they calculated GPA. Here at WPI, for students who are not matriculated, so all of you in my world are considered visiting students. So you're not here accepted and admitted and matriculated to a program where you're going to end up with a bachelor's degree. So that means that you're a non-degree seeking or visiting student, and our GPAs and our traditional letter grades that apply to that type of student are very specific. So a GPA, as I'm sure many of you know, in general, is just calculated by taking the average of your total grade points. And sometimes you have a term GPA, so that's what your GPA was for the maybe 1 or 2 or 3 courses that you took just this summer. And if you're a student here who continues with us, you might have a cumulative GPA that is the average of all of the courses you've taken over maybe 3 and 4 and 5 different terms. So the grade points themselves, those are found by multiplying the number of credits that a class is worth, and any school is going to tell you what those credit hours are, and you multiply that by the value of the grade that you received. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here at WPI. Our traditional letter grades that apply to visiting students and other non-degree seeking students are traditional letter grades. So things you're familiar with, A, B, C, D, and F. And the grade points that match those letters are as follows. So an A is 4 grade points, a B is 3, C is 2, and a D is 1, and an F, of course, is 0. Now, many schools have pluses and minuses, so you might see some fluctuations in there in between, but at WPI, we do not have pluses and minuses. It's exactly just, just standard letter grades. So if you are, I think most of you are taking 3 credit courses through your Frontiers program. That means that if you took a 3 credit course and you get an A for it, your grade points for that course are going to be 12. And then what you take and in order to get the GPA, of course, then you would take the total number of credits you attempted and divide by that number. So that's how you get your GPA. But that is what is happening for our traditional letter grades. Now, this year, and this is really specific just to this summer and also our past spring when we had to quickly pivot to online learning, we have the option for a student to select to do a pass or no credit grading option. So if a student chooses the pass or no credit option, the available grades are either P or NC. So the P is going to replace your A or your B or your C that you earned, but it doesn't have any grade point assignment. There is no value for it. It's not calculated in the GPA. So it's just going to come out as nothing. The NC or no credit, that replaces your D or your F grade. Now, it does not count as earned, so you didn't earn that credit because you got a D or an F, but it also does not have any GPA weight. So there's no factoring of GPA. It's really just the student did not do well enough to actually earn the credit in this class. So some of you may have heard of pass-fail before, and this is similar to pass-fail, but the NC really does no harm to a student. So there's it's no harm at all. You don't earn the credits, but there's no harm to your GPA on your record in that case. So it's a great option to have. I expect that many of you are doing really well, and you probably are going to be happy to get the letter grade that you get. So the question is, there is a question here that I do want to address right now in the chat about the NC being the same as the NR. So the NR grade is specific to students who are degree-seeking undergraduates, okay? So you can't be a visiting student and have the NR as an option. You have to be a degree-seeking student. So some of you maybe are even entering, you might be planning on entering WPI here this fall, but right now you're still a visiting student, so the NR is not available to you. For those of you who don't know, the NR stands for no record. And when you're an undergraduate degree-seeking student here, it works just like the NC in that it doesn't have any GPA weight. So and we don't technically have a GPA at WPI at the undergraduate level, but certainly students calculate it out all the time and care very much about it. And so the NR does not calculate in that, just like the NC. The difference is that for an undergraduate degree seeker, the NR does not show up at all on an official transcript. So, and our transcripts for at the undergraduate level, at that level, are very, they look very different than a traditional transcript. They don't show credits earned or attempted. They don't show any kind of numerical GPA. It really is just a list of courses that you have passed. So, so you do, if you get the pass though, that counts as earned credit. So you've earned the credit, and for most places, that is acceptable for transfer credit. It certainly is acceptable here. Let's see, I'm just going to take a quick look for questions for anything that's real specific to this. I think we can move on from here. So I'm sure many people are wondering how do you choose this pass no credit option. once an instructor assigns the grade, and that grade shows up on the student's record in BannerWeb, and the students will be able to log into BannerWeb to see that grade. If they decide that if the student decides that they want to take the pass option, the pass NC option, then you'll log into the site that I have listed here on the screen. I will be sending all students who are registered for E2 an email with this information, so it will be at your fingertips. And also it is found right on my homepage, right on the registrar homepage as well. So it's easy to find this, but at any rate, they'll go onto that form and fill it out. It will show the courses that you have. It will only show courses that have grades on them. So the page will get updated frequently. So if you get one grade earlier, if you're taking 2 classes and you get one grade early and you get another one later, you'll be able to go back to the form to work with that second class. But at any rate, you just choose that you want the pass NC option and submit it. That comes into my team. It creates a ticket for my team, and my team will process it, and then you'll get an email back that's let you know when that has been processed, and you can see the results on the BannerWeb screen. There is a real specific deadline to make this selection though, and that is this for your E2. These are summer session 2 classes. It's Friday, August 21st, 5 p.m. Eastern time. The form will actually shut off and not allow you to put any further selections in. That was part of the faculty vote. So once that deadline is passed, then that's the end of it. Now, certainly the grading deadline for all of the E2 classes is August 19th, and I realize that that is a pretty quick turnaround. Should a faculty member be late putting their grades in, we will certainly work with students, even if the form is already closed. We will work with students in that case, because if the faculty member was late, we're certainly not going to hold you accountable for that. Now, if you get a grade that you're happy with and you'd like to leave that letter grade on there, then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to touch that form, just leave it alone, and that letter grade will stand. So any questions about the process there? If you want to throw those into chat, happy to answer them. Like I said, I will send an email to all the students, so you'll at least have that. So the banner in BannerWeb, where you go, so when you log into BannerWeb, there are several tabs at the top. One of them is like student records and financial aid or something like that, but it says student records, student information or something like that. Anyway, you'll click that student records one, and then there's a student records menu item. So if you click that, then you'll see options. You can view final grades. You can view your unofficial transcript. The unofficial transcript is an easy one for you to see that grade there. And then if you choose that pass NC option, as soon as we have completed that request, you'll be able to go and see that change in BannerWeb right away. It's in real time. All right. So let's talk a little bit about transferring credit then, because once you've got this credit, then I'm sure you're gonna wanna do something with it. So if you're going to be transferring the credit to WPI, now to actually get the credit on your record, you don't have to do anything. When you come to WPI and you ultimately, you get accepted and you confirm your record, that record is going to come over to my side of the house, and we're going to do a contrast and compare and make sure that any passing grades that you got while you were a visiting student, those courses and credits get moved over automatically to your undergraduate record. So there's really nothing that you have to do there. Now, I understand from an admission perspective, they are certainly happy to see records of past activity here at WPI. So you are welcome to upload either an unofficial or an official copy of your transcript or some kind of, any kind of grade report you happen to have. They're happy to see that, but that is not necessary for you to get that credit moved over to your undergraduate record here at WPI. So I'm going to get back to some other questions once we get through the transferring stuff, unless it's specific to transfer. Well, let's say, of course, we really want you to come to WPI, but that might not be in your plans, and you end up going somewhere else, and you still want to transfer this credit elsewhere. It's generally easy to do, but every school is going to be a little different. So the first thing you want to learn is what that receiving institution's policy and procedures are. People do it in lots of different ways. They want you to send it to this specific address or upload it with your application or what have you. So your first step is to find out what your school wants. Once you find that out, definitely what they are going to want is an official transcript. So all you'll need to do is order an official transcript from us. And so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're planning to provide you all with a paper copy of your official transcripts once you've completed this program.
That's correct.
And so, so you'll have that copy, but you should know that a copy can only be considered official if it's on paper, if it's unopened. So if you get that in the mail and you open it, then it's not going to be official anymore. So if you are planning on using that paper copy as an official record to transfer credit, then you're going to want to not open it and deliver it directly to the school. But at any rate, when you're ordering transcripts from us, we've got paper. We also have PDF, and many institutions want to have PDFs right now anyway. So that might be a really valuable option, and there's lots of instructions. And again, you just really need to be sure you know exactly where they want it sent. That will save you lots of processing nightmares if you can at least get it to the right place. Any questions about the transferring stuff? The cost of transcripts are $5 a piece. And I will mention that, every institution is different. I will say that most institutions are accepting, because so many institutions for COVID reasons adopted a pass-fail or a pass-no credit kind of model. Most institutions are accepting those pass grades. But that is also something that you'll want to check out ahead of time. If you know you're going somewhere specific that is not WPI and you plan to transfer the credit, that might be something that you want to check out before you choose the pass NC option. So that's just a note there. So the question is, this is a good question. If the student accepts the letter grade and then you come to a WPI, will that impact the GPA? And the answer is yes, because that's WPI credit. So it's going to move just like WPI, as if you took the class as an undergraduate student. So that will move over like a real grade. So here at WPI, when we accept transfer credit, so long as the minimum grade meets what we require, we take the credit, but we do not, it does not get included. It actually doesn't even get included on your record at all. In WPI, it just shows up as credit. So that's a difference between transfer credit versus this process where it's like a merging of records. So you attended here as a visiting student and you become an undergraduate student. We're really just merging your record. And so then that GPA is showing up. However, we will not move anything that is an NC. So if you choose to get an NC or you don't choose the NC, let's say you just, maybe you get a D or an F and for whatever reason, you let that sit on your record, that is not going to be merged over with your undergraduate record. So only course credit that was passing will get moved from the visiting student record to the undergraduate degree seeking record. Okay. So that was really the end of we're on to the questions portion. So I'm going to actually stop this slideshow. There we go.
I think you did a really great job answering all the questions as we went along. I just saw one. I just lost it.
I think we had,
we have a question about the number of credits required for graduation from WPI.
Oh, great. So the number of credits required for the bachelor's degree is 135. Now, An interesting thing that you'll learn when you start as a WPI student is that as soon as you cross the line from visiting student or graduate student, we have some weird policies. As soon as you cross the line into undergraduate degree seeking student, we start talking in units and fractions. And so, so when I say 135 credits, what you'll hear a lot of people say to you in the WPI world is that that's a minimum of 15 units. So the way it works is that a typical class is 3 credits, and 3 credits is 1/3 of a unit. 1 unit is 9 credits. So you have to start with the premise that 1 equals 9, and then you can filter down from there. So some of the courses that we have are 0.75 credits, and that's a 1/12 of a unit. We've got some interesting things there.
I think oftentimes the easiest way for folks to think about it is you basically need 45 classes to graduate from WPI, and you are taking one of them. So this class is 1/45. If you are, somebody had asked what's the percentage of how this would affect the GPA.
Mm-hmm.
It would be 1/45 of your overall GPA.
Yep. Yeah, very tiny. So there is a question about if the high school student takes a class and they get a B or an A in the class, but they feel like they didn't quite learn enough to move on to the next level, can they retake it? And that answer is absolutely. We will only give you credit one time for the same class, which is, pretty normal. But yeah, you absolutely can take it over. And that actually happens all the time. I mean, students come in and either they've done AP credit, or maybe they got some transfer credit for a particular class from another school, but they're just not feeling comfortable. They can absolutely take the class, and we will just remove that transfer credit or that AP credit kind of thing. So yeah, so this happens all the time. Let's see. So the question is whether if you earn an F, what are you getting? So if you choose the pass NC option. So if you get an F or a D, that translates to the NC. So that's what I would turn that into. And if you get anything C, B, or A, then you get the P for pass. Is there a cap on AP courses or summer credit courses? Nope, there's no cap. We take all the AP credit that we accept. So, and you'll find on my website, there's a list of the credit that we give for certain AP courses and certain AP exams and the scores that are required. So you'll find that on my website. And you can, as a non-matriculated student, so as a non-matriculated student, as a visiting student, you're allowed to take up to 18 credits before we shut you off. So that's and a typical load for an undergraduate student, that is 1 full semester's worth of work. Can definitely put the link to our website. Oh, there you go. Here. Oh, you didn't get it, Nicole.
Yeah, no, I had something
She's gonna
else
get it in there. Totally fine.
1 minute. There you go. So
the question is, if the student takes the P option, does that show on the transcript as a P or a P/NC? It will show as a P. So the option is called pass or no credit, but the grade that you get is that translation that I showed on the screen, where that little grid that said the P grade is assigned if you get an A, B, or C letter grade, and the NC gets assigned if you get a D or an F.
I can answer the one about Frontiers. So we actually had added a Frontiers for credit in the on-site program this year, and that would have been our first year offering that. However, as we all know, that didn't happen this summer. So typically the on-site program is a not for credit program, just an exploration program. But we're very pleased with the way that this ran this year. So we are thinking of offering this type of program again, where the students would also have the opportunity to be on campus and stay on campus with us, but take the classes either remotely or in a hybrid fashion. So definitely exploring that for next year. Really happy with the way this worked, and that says a lot for all of you as well and the good work that you're doing. The faculty are happy to have you.
Absolutely.
Sarah, you may have answered this. I might have been for the website when this question popped up. Is there any cap on AP courses? You did answer that, or summer?
That's right. Yeah, no AP courses. And the summer, technically for visiting students, you can only take up to 18 credits, and then we'll put a stop to you. That's never, I mean, I think it's only happened a couple of times in my time here. And it's usually been employees or something who are just taking classes as they go along. Typically speaking, we don't see any, high schoolers or anything taking that many credits, because of course you're still in high school doing actual high school work. And so you only have time to do some stuff with us in the summer. So we usually don't run into that.
Thank you.
So the AP courses accepted, if you're on, I'm going to get on my website right now so I can actually guide you properly.
One thing I can answer about that while you're doing that is typically for WPI, we do accept based on the number grade that you receive on the exam. So,
yeah, so it has to be
for WPI, it is a 4 or 5 on the exam that you would need to get in order to get credit for the course. Yeah. And that is listed on that page as well, I believe.
So if you go, when you're on our website on the main page, if you go to the policies and procedures page, which you'll find a link to on the right-hand side, right under academics, it's the third one down, AP credit. And that will give you all the ins and outs of what we accept. There are a few special caveats for you to know. I mean, so the credit itself will take, in the humanities and arts requirement, they will only allow 1/3 of that, and that means 3 credits, to come from an AP score. And so that's just particular to that requirement. That's a general requirement for everybody. But otherwise, you'll see pretty much easily laid out there exactly what you'll get out of this. And just remember, 3 credits equals 1/3.
Sarah, do you want to talk a little bit about transfer credit from other colleges?
Sure. So, and you're going to find some great stuff under there for that as well. So on that same page, the policies and procedures page, there's a whole section for transfer credit. For undergraduate students, if you're an incoming undergraduate student, so it's before you've actually started your first day here at WPI, undergraduate admission sort of helps facilitate that transfer process, although my office is the one that does post the credit. And then once you're here, if you want to, say, over the summer, take a course at your local community college or whatever, there are some other guidelines for you to follow, and that's all outlined right there. But what is also really cool is that we have a system where you can view what we've already accepted as transfer credit and see what the minimum grade is required for us to actually accept that credit. And so that link is also there on that website, and that is constantly being updated as we get new credit requests from students, either incoming or currently here. Once our faculty sign off on the eligibility of the course and tell us what it will be equivalent to, we program that in there, and you can search through and see if you've taken any credits anywhere else, you can right now kind of take a look and get an idea of what credit you would get over here at WPI. We're very excited about that system. So it's nice for everybody to be able to see it and kind of punt through. It's good for current students as well.
So the next question is, it says online courses not typically accepted. Is that different now? Excellent question.
That's a great question. And the answer is yes. Yes, it's generally being overlooked at this point. Now, we still have to check with the faculty to make sure that that is acceptable, because as a general rule, there are many departments that do not accept online coursework, but certainly we're in a different situation. And so they have generally been lenient across the board.
Great. Very good. This was a lot of very useful and important information, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. We'll skip it one more minute to see if anybody has any final questions, or if either of you have anything else you'd like to share.
So I do, so there's one, to clarify, a high school student only has the option of pass, no credit, that there is no option for just an NR, and that is correct. There is no option for NR. NR is a grade that is specific to degree-seeking undergraduates and only degree-seeking undergraduates. And so that is not an option for anybody who is not a current undergraduate student.
That's a good question.
So in speaking with an admissions officer, I learned that if you take more than one semester's worth of college classes, you must reapply as a transfer student. I don't know if was that something that you heard from an admissions officer here at WPI, or was that just more of a general? Okay. I don't know the specific answer to that, Sue. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, so you cannot be a full-time student at another institution is how WPI looks at it. So if you go to another institution and take a couple of classes, you would be fine to still be considered a first-year student at WPI. So for example, if you're deferring your admission for a year for whatever reason and you decide to take a few classes. But at some point, if you become or are considered a full-time student at another institution, then you're no longer considered a first-year student, and therefore you do have to apply as a transfer student. And that does have some implications to financial aid and other things as well. So it is definitely something to think about if you're, you know, thinking about taking a year off and taking some courses. You just want to keep it underneath the full-time student status. We have another question there. Taking robotics at WPI right now, I'm able to choose pass NC, and if I do, everyone who is taking a course is able to choose pass NC. Mm-hmm. So, and yes, if you pass, if you don't get the NC, then yes, you would get credit for the course. So.
Right. And the good thing is that you don't even have the option to select the pass, no credit, until after you've seen the grade. So you're going to make an informed decision no matter what. You're going to see the grade and then you can decide. Does AP credit count the same as taking classes from another school? No. I mean, if you're talking about what Sue was just talking about as far as classifying you as a transfer student, then no, that's not the case. It does, you know, as far as earning credit based on the AP score, it's just, you know, either a student A could have the AP credit and student B could have transferred it in from another school. It's going to look exactly the same on their record here at WPI, but yeah, I think you mean more the transfer, counting as a transfer student. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
The one thing that I did see that I'll clarify up above, I think the questioner understood it, but the one caveat that I'll say about taking college courses is WPI is pretty particular about where you take those courses. So if you are taking I'll use UConn as an example because I know they do it. So UConn teaches courses in the high school with high school faculty. those courses, even though they're a UConn course, because they're taught at the high school, they are not transferable to WPI as credit. We need the course to be taken on a college campus in order for it to count for credit for WPI.
Right. Now, the answer in these cases, you are doing exactly that, albeit not on WPI's campus, but you are taking classes with other undergraduate students, and so this is absolutely considered college credit. Yeah. So there's a one question in here as far as the pass NC option and how it exists always for regular WPI students. So so there's two pieces to this. So the NR, as a rule, has existed for WPI undergraduates since the 70s, since the WPI plan was passed, okay? So the NR always exists for the WPI degree-seeking undergraduates. The pass and the pass grade for visiting students and for WPI undergraduate students did not exist before. So that was something new that the WPI faculty invented in order to deal with all the COVID changes. And also the no credit did not exist before. And so that, yeah, if we did have a course that was technically pass fail, that's exactly what it was pass fail or pass NR, but we didn't have any pass NRs at the undergraduate level. Yeah.
And if there's any alums out there, it's different than it was when we were students in the 80s. So their grades have changed a little bit since then. So
yeah, and this pass NC or pass NR option where you're getting to, you know, where you're choosing it at all. I mean, typically at WPI, a course is either pass fail, and we really don't have any pass NR. I think maybe we have one pass NR at the undergraduate level, and that's it. Mostly pass fail is a graduate level thing. So unless the course is designated that way, you got letter grades, whatever letter grades apply to you, that's the letter grades that you got. So this is only in effect for our last term, our D term, and the summer terms here. And my expectation, it is not in effect for the fall. The faculty would have to have another vote in order to extend this. And my understanding and expectation is that is not going to happen. So we should be back to normal here in the fall.
excellent.
So, so if my daughter enrolls in WPI in 2 years, she got her grade before. We should get her grade before deciding if she wants to take the NR. So no, that she won't. That won't be a decision she makes because every course is graded in this fashion. So so at WPI as a degree-seeking undergraduate, you actually can't get less than a C on anything. If you get less than a C, you didn't earn it, and so you get this no record. Now, it seems like it seems like a really great thing. I mean, it doesn't show up on your transcript, and you know, it's almost like no harm, no foul. But I will caution you that there are academic standards at WPI, and so too many NRs won't hurt you, but you have to balance those out with enough past courses to keep your academic standing in good standing. So, you know, if you are registered for 6 courses in over a semester, so you've got 3 courses in A term and 3 courses in B term, of those, you have to pass 4. You have to pass 4/3 in order to be on good academic standing. So you really only have room for 2 NRs in there if you're going to keep your standing up. So it's a great thing. The NR is a lovely thing, but it does, I don't want to give people a sense of false confidence. You do still, you know, it's really important that you're passing courses regularly in order to keep up that academic standing. Unfortunately, that is one of the other jobs that comes under the registrar mantle, and that is checking your academic standing and giving you bad news. And so I don't like to do that. And so we hope to see everybody succeeding. But yes, actually, as pointed out in the chat, it does let you explore a new discipline without penalty. And that's really the idea. The idea behind the plan and the NR grade was that students should be able to take some risks academically and not be afraid to take risks academically and not have that you know, completely ruin their chances of graduating, right? So we like it.
Well, I think,
Seems like we're good here, Nikki.
yeah, I think so. I think a lot of really great questions and a lot of really great answers and some wonderful information. So thank you both to Sarah and Sue for taking the time to share. Whoops, when can students interview? Sue, you want to take that one?
Sure. If you are a rising senior, you can interview anytime. There is some information on the Canvas site, on the Frontiers Canvas site, about signing up for interviews. You are welcome to do that at any time. If you're a rising junior, we would recommend that you wait until next year because you have a little bit more to talk about, a little bit more to share with the admissions officer about your high school career and what you've been up to. So, but if you are going to be a senior this year, you should be able to access all that information on Canvas and go right ahead and sign up for an interview. We'd be excited to chat with you.
Thank you. So as always, if there are any questions we didn't answer, if anything pops into your head later regarding this session or any of the other workshops that you may have hopped on, please email us at pop@wpi.edu. And if we can't answer the question, we will farm it out to someone who can. So again, this will be—
Nikki, there's a quick question I'm just going to answer before you finish. Yes, you can interview before you've applied to WPI.
Oh, now here's another one. Hold on. Oh no. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Great. So we'll turn off the recording. This will be in your students Canvas page probably within the hour. So if you missed anything or you need to refresh your memory, you can hop back there and check it out. So again, thanks for joining us and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.